Hey everybody! The purpose of this video is to get us some solutions to the exponential regression quiz on chickens and chicken laying. We actually keep chickens at our house, and we've had them now for 3+ years. I think they're in their 4th year now, and I find this interesting. I haven't actually charted percentage-wise of chicken laying, but I would not doubt that this is too far off of what our chickens are doing. So anyway, interesting things about chickens. Some of you might keep chickens and you understand this kind of stuff, but pretty much the older they get, the less they lay. So what I want to do is model that. Since they gave me the results in percentages, they say by the time your hen reaches 3, her egg output has dropped to 65% of her maximum laying ability. Okay, I put 0,1. We'll go ahead and enter some data here. I put 0,1 in because within her first year, when she's 0 total years old, she starts laying full time. I mean, essentially, they don't lay when they're first born. Excuse me. They start laying around when they're 6 months old, but then they're by the end of their first year, they're banging out 100%. After 3 years, according to them, we have dropped to 65% of maximum laying capacity. So that's about 2/3, right? So that means we're only getting 2/3 of the eggs we were originally. And I'm curious to see that actually, because that's where our girls are right now. And once the days start getting longer, I want to see where they pop back up to. And if they make it to 10, it's going to be down only at 20% of that first year output. All right, so there's our data. It's not going to be much of a scatter plot, honestly. We can take a quick look at it. Zoom, stat, there it is. And you can start seeing it's got a little bit of exponential drop to it. You're not going to go with quadratic. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because quadratic would imply that it's going to go back up, which it's not going to do. So I think exponential makes the most sense. Let's run an exponential regression. We'll stick it in Y1. There it is. So here's your first question. Define the variables x and y. Okay, so x in this case, is the number of years after being born. So that's going to be age in years. And b is going to be the percentage of maximum egg laying capacity left. So what this tells us is every year she loses 85% of her capacity. Excuse me, I take that back. That was wrong. Every year she maintains 85% of her capacity. She loses 15%, which is actually the answer to number 2 here. What percent of maximum laying ability does the average chicken lose? Well, 15%. She's maintaining 85. She's losing 15. At what percent of maximum laying ability is a hen that makes it to 10 years? Well, that's kind of dumb. I actually gave you that answer up here in the data, didn't I? It's 20%. I feel kind of silly now. What I wanted you to do was to go to, I feel so silly right now. What I wanted you to do was to go to your table and input 10 and hit enter, which agrees perfectly with the data. Oh well, that's all good. There's 2 points. Give you 2 points there. Can a hen ever get to 0%? Why or why not? There's a couple different ways you can answer this one. Number 1, the answer is no. You can't ever get to 100% or to 0 maximum egg laying capacity, because that would imply that taking a percentage of 1 will eventually be 0. Well, from earlier math classes you guys most likely took, you know that the only time something times something equals 0 is if one of those somethings is 0. So if the percentage, 85%, isn't 0, and the original egg laying production, which is 100%, isn't 0, well then you can't multiply them together to get 0. They can keep getting smaller. You can keep stringing 85% together all day long. I mean, assuming 20 years, they're down to 4%. 25 years, if they live this long, you're at roughly 2%. Even 50 years, it looks like 0. It's 0.0003. And you can make the TI look like it tells you 0 eventually. If I'm not lying to you, it'll eventually tell you 0. I don't know if I can make the chicken live long enough to do that. There we go. But it's not. That's not really 0. That's a very, very small number close to 0. So that's another answer you can say. You can say that, within limits of how old chickens can be, you can get as close as you want to 0. But mathematically, you can't. You're stuck. You're stuck above 0. You're just stuck with a chicken that lays fewer and fewer eggs with each passing day. All right. I hope that helped you get some answers for the quiz. We'll see you in class.